It's bright. Nice. That's my EP's there. I'll let them know ahead of time. Yeah, people are confused. I'll straighten it out. Yeah. And that was so Jet. Oh, that got points already. No, yeah, they told me.
If Jeff would have I wouldn't have been on the podium either. But maybe if he would have got docked, Jason, I would have.
Might have been. It's going to be interesting to parse through it.
Yeah.
But with you, it was Jason Anderson, and then with the points lead too. You became points lead in the part. I think because under the team, you get the red plate still. Yeah, 1 point. Hey, it's still there. Still counts, baby. Yeah. I think we're ready to start. I want to welcome everybody here to the post-race press conference for round 4 of the 2024 season of Monster Energy Supercross Championship. My name is Dan Hubbard. A couple things I want to go over before we actually get to the podium. Let's do it right now. Rules of the room to start with, name and affiliation. So inside here, if you have a microphone, again, you know the rules. State your name, state your affiliation, and then ask your question. I'll call on you. We'll go to the virtual press out there and get them in as well. We had a sold-out crowd tonight in Anaheim. Really, really cool to have that. This weekend, Supercross partnered with Sony Pictures to promote the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie with Justin Barcia's opening ceremonies ride in Ecto 1 and the Whole Shot Awards, which were won by Levi Kitchen and Vince Ferrizzi. That movie comes out March 22nd. We appreciate their partnership, and it was cool to talk about it throughout the day on Race Day Live and into the night show as well. Real quick note, you'll notice Aaron Plessinger on the podium. This is a race control note. Race direction deemed that number 21, Jason Anderson, gained an advantage while off the track. That moves Aaron Plessinger into third place. Eli Tomac into second, and your winner, Cooper Webb. Let's give him a big round of applause. They did a great job out there tonight. Let's start with Cooper Webb. Big win for you first of the season. We talked about it on Race Day Live, felt it was coming, and you are in championship contention once again. How'd it feel to get it done in this Triple Crown format?
Oh man, it was awesome. You know, to get it, be consistent all day. Like I keep saying, a little weird to not win a main event, but overall, man, it feels great to get a win for the first one of the season. It was rough end of the year last year, so it feels great to be up here, back in the point swing, and to represent the new team and all my new sponsors. It feels really awesome.
Excellent. Let's open up the press right here.
Yeah, Scott Yarjo, Moto Now blog. Eli, you had to come through the pack for the first 2 races. Talk about how hard that was to pass on the track, and if you learned any lines going through the pack that helped you on that third one.
I rode a lot better in Moto 1 compared to Moto 2. I was able to make more passes, I felt like. Pretty sure I did in Moto 1. Just was able to move around the track better. And, yeah, man, I was just struggling, to be honest, off the starts. Like, could not get off the grate. But as for the track, it was technical. It was something we don't see all the time. So I actually enjoyed it. Changed a lot between each race there. You had to ride it different. Almost every moto there. So overall, I was just like, I got to go do something for Moto3 there. So, yeah.
Jamie Guido, Vital MX. Eli, I want to stick with you on the same topic, really. Race 3 was significantly better. You talked about starts, but it seemed like you were riding much better. Was there a significant change made, bike or line choice, before race 3?
No, not really. The one thing I did get, though, out of Moto 2 was the other rhythm lane after mechanics to go triple there after that turn. So I had that in my pocket for Moto 3, which I felt helped open up a gap there, like initially in Moto 3 there, doing that combo. So other than that, it was just like being in clean air and being up front and riding well and getting a good jump combo through the whoops.
Coop, Jace from Gypsy Tales, mate. Look, last week in the press conference, you had energy about you. Like, there was definitely a vibe that you were putting off. And I think even at the end, to kind of make sure that you congratulated AP, I don't know, I saw something in you that was very championship. It was very like in control mentality. Like, how do you build that kind of vibe within yourself? And like, can you feel that something's been building in these early few rounds of this championship? And if you look back to last year when you had your struggles, what's the difference? You know, obviously the bike or, you know, the results, but it really seems like you've been able to build momentum this year.
I think for me, it's just overall everything's gelling really well. You know, I think for me, the bike change helped me attack a little bit harder. To where last year I relied a lot on consistency, and speed was sometimes not there. I feel like now I have the speed when I need it. I feel like I can, you know, maneuver things a little bit better. And honestly, I'm really motivated as always, but I'm having fun. I'm with a really solid group, and I think just the change mentally was a great thing for me, and I'm just enjoying putting in the work again. And I have a great crew to ride with, and the team is awesome. And obviously, it's not easy to 1 and 2 here, make us both happy. And I feel like they've done a great job at making all three of us happy. So I think that's the biggest thing. And just knowing, like, I've always been a confident person, but I feel like this off season, towards the later half of it, I was like, man, I'm doing things on the motorcycle that I know is going to be good at the race. And that's the biggest thing, I think.
And quick one, AP, sorry, just sneak one in here. Last week, take over the points lead, first win. It's like a mud race, which sometimes people put an asterisk next to. How important was it for you to come out this week and get another podium? And did you feel like a bit of a swell of like positivity around you all week, and did that kind of carry through? And I guess, does this send a message like you're probably going to be here for the long haul this year?
Yeah. I think this race was really important, just to stay consistent and not let things get to my head. And I feel like I did a good job at that, and I got really good starts this whole night. And I tightened up in the first moto, and then in the second moto I rode really, really good right behind Coop, and then unfortunately Jet got me at the end. But I was riding really, really good, and then I was right behind Chase pretty much that whole race, and then Jet came by us, and then he went down on the last lap. So it was just I guess I credit this to staying consistent. Obviously there was some points mixed around, but no, I just stayed consistent, stayed positive, and just kind of calmed down after the first one, and just rode really good night.
Hey, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com for Coop. You won tonight through consistency, obviously, but can you describe the feeling when you do win and overall without winning one of the races on the night? What's that like for you? And obviously all the points count at the end of the night.
I think it was just, like, especially the last one, it's tough because I'm doing math in my head lap one, and I think we all do when we're in a good spot going into the last one, right? So it's one of those things that if you do really well the first two, the third one sometimes is easy. Like you have, like I did, like I had a lot of wiggle room and could just honestly have a solo ride in fifth place. But it is a little bit weird, for sure, to not go over the checkered flag first. But I think that's kind of the unique thing about the Triple Crown, is we've seen a lot of this happen, and you can have big point swings, and you can have one bad race, but then have two good ones, and you end up on the podium or something like that. So it's never over for sure in these kind of situations. Like, you can set yourself up great with the first two, but you still got to be mindful in the last one. So I think that was really it, honestly. Like, I saw Jason right in front of me. He went down, and probably wasn't the best thing for me because it was instantly like, all right, I can just kind of chill. But I was grateful to put myself in that situation.
Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. This question's for Eli. Eli, A1, finished 9th overall, back at a dry race. You're up here second on the podium, main event win in main 3. Was there just getting your race legs under you, or you make bike changes since A1, or just you're coming back after the injury, you just get more comfortable?
Since A1, yeah, there were bike changes. It's basically just going back to something I knew. So that was it for the motorcycle, and yeah. With that being said, it's tough for your first race back after having that time off. So to be honest, it was probably a combination of both there.
Ryan Nitzen with Cycle News. My question's for Aaron. Can you talk about the pressure or lack of pressure riding with the red plate coming into this round, and then you leave with it as well?
It didn't really feel that much different. I think the nerves kind of got to me in the first race, and then after that, I was like, it's not really that different. I just rode tight, and then the second one I got a good start, just kind of chilled and picked my breathing spots, and yeah, it wasn't too different. I feel like I said, I did a good job of not letting everything kind of get to my head, and I stayed chill, and we only got to ride once this week, so yeah, I don't know. I just had a really, really chill week. A lot of phone calls, but nothing was too different. It didn't really bother me that much.
Nick Steele, MotoOnline.com. This will be for AP. AP, in the off season, when you have a teammate come to your team like Chase Sexton, carrying a number 1 plate, coming to A1 like this, the one person you want to beat the most is your teammate. How's that feel now? You can walk around there and be so-called the top dog. Does that feel any different, around the team, around the truck?
For me, not really. I don't know. I feel like the team does a pretty good job of treating us equal, and I'm a pretty easy dude. I haven't really made many changes to the bike. So yeah, I feel like we're treated pretty equally, but it is nice to carry that red plate around and be the top dog.
Andrea, Moto Now blog. Cooper, you're dealing with being sick this week. How did that impact you during the races, and is a Triple Crown harder for that?
Yeah, for sure. It's not great, but everybody has those weekends where you don't feel great, and you just got to kind of get through it. But yeah, it's never great, but that's sport, and I made the most of it, right, and put myself in great position. So yeah, it was definitely tougher in a Triple Crown scenario for sure.
Yeah, hi, Adam Wheeler from Various. A quick question for Cooper and also for Eli. You guys have had different levels of popularity throughout your career with the fans. What's your thoughts on sort of the reaction to Jet tonight after all that's happened in the last week or so?
What happened?
Well, the crowd gave him a pretty resounding booing.
Oh,
it
really?
was, yeah. Just from your personal experience with your career, it's kind of a strange scenario, right?
Yeah, I wasn't aware, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, we're in a world where there's a lot of crazy things that go around, especially online and stuff. So I'm sure Eli would say the same. It's always best to keep your head down, and as much as you want to sometimes knock somebody's ass out, you just gotta keep it all in. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just sport, right? And everyone has those moments of popularity, of the ups and downs, and I feel like that it can be part of the cycle. And then, of course, nowadays, the fire can be fueled just by social media. So, both sides can escalate there.
Michael Antonovich with Swap Moto Live. This is for Eli. Race 3, you have a great start, and then you just get to go out, do the laps, do the rhythms that you want to do. How did that feel after 4 races?
It was nice. I was pretty frustrated after those first 2. I was like, okay, here I'm just what am I now? Fifth, 7th place guy right now. I don't know. I just had to go do something. I just had to get off the gate there. So it was good. It was good. Had a good flow. Was able to get the whoop combo down, and I felt like that was important for me. And yeah, felt good.
Let's go to Mitch Kendra.
Hey, Mitch Kendra from Racer X. This question's for Cooper Webb. Obviously, you talked about wanting to be in this. You get the win tonight. You're 6 points down. We came into the Super Motocross playoffs last year, and you really wanted to go fight for wins and be a title threat. And obviously, that wasn't the case. Just talk about how you got the bike comfortable to where you are now and how you kind of turned things around. Like, you look completely different, from you did last September. So just talk about that mindset and the change with the bike and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, SMX wasn't great for me. I looking back was just not ready was the bottom line. I thought I was. I think it was one of those things where you get on a new bike and you're just different scenery and you're very pumped. But it was good. Like I said it in pre-race stuff. Like, I think it was good for me to go there and get really beat pretty good. And then I also figured some stuff out with my health side that really helped. And so that was good, but mainly just kind of with the bike and really trusting the direction of the team and working with the guys and having solid days. And it's crazy to see the turnaround, right? From September to January, it was a massive difference. So it's really encouraging. And, I think for me, I always know Supercross is something that comes maybe a little more natural for me, and I'm always going to hopefully be in a position to fight for a championship. And I never lost sight of that. I think that was the biggest thing. Even though it was a little discouraging after SMX, I never lost sight of the main goal, and neither did the team.
And then real quick, another one on the bike. Obviously, this bike is a star bike. It's completely different from the Yamaha you raced as your first 2 years in the Premier class. Can you just talk about the changes to, the bike in general, the team, the new generation bike? Just walk us through how different this is now compared to how it was, in 2018.
Yeah, it's. Why are you laughing, AP? Nah, it's a lot different. Pretty much everything, the personnel, the way the suspension is, like, everything is completely different. The way it's ran, I mean, even though it's the same Yamaha motorcycle, it's a complete 360. So, I do, everyone's like, oh, don't you have PTSD? And I'm like, no, I know this group and the success we had on 250s. And even when I raced those select 450 races as a 250 rider on their bike, I always did really well. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think how different it can be, but yeah, from every aspect, everything's changed and progressed.
Thanks.
Brad Gebhardt.
Thanks, Brad Gebhardt, Verb Moto. This one's for AP. Let's talk about the week that was. Being able to reflect on the win, and obviously you had a lot of people reach out to you that sort of helped you get to where you're at right now. That must have been pretty special.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. I still got probably like 300 text messages to go through. But it was awesome. Like I said, it was a pretty chill week. We only rode Wednesday, and I got to kind of just hang out and take it in, and it was awesome. But I think, my mind or something was telling me the job's not done, because I thought it would feel a lot more like a weight release off the shoulders. And I woke up on Sunday and I kind of felt the same, and I was like, all right, well, time to go try again this weekend. So, now I'm glad I'm glad this is the way I feel, because, I can kind of put my head down and try harder during the week, and then to get up here like this with, a little luck involved, but, still be up here is, I think that was even more important than last week.
And quickly for Cooper, was the high-vis boots available for you this weekend, and would that have been too much?
Yeah, you could see me from space today, so that was pretty cool.
I adjusted my television.
Yeah, but it's it's always nice to kind of have something different. But yeah, bringing back the high vis for sure, man.
Thanks, guys.
Dan Beaver.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Aaron. How gratifying is it to go to Detroit with the red plate now 2 weeks in a row? Lots changed since the last time you were there.
Yeah, man, it's I really, really wanted to do it. I knew Detroit was the next race, and I really, really wanted to carry the red plate into Detroit, given the events that happened last year, and I think that's it's going to be a special race. yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to get back to Florida this week and put in some work and go up to the freezing cold and hopefully my mustache doesn't break off in the 20-degree weather. So, but no, I'm ready to get back up there and do some damage.
Grace.
Thank you. Grace Albing with Speed Sport. This one is for all three of you. Finally a dry racetrack after, A1 and then a couple mudders. What do you feel like you were able to kind of learn about your race program tonight? And do you feel like you can more properly kind of evaluate where you're at, after tonight versus the mud races? Let's go Eli, Cooper, and then Aaron.
I feel like, when you have those 2 mud races in a row, it's just a huge unknown. So for me personally, this was like round 2 for me just because I failed so terribly at Anaheim 1. So it was a huge question mark for myself coming into today. So it was important, for us to perform.
Yeah, I think you gotta, like Eli said, the 2 you don't ever know. So today was a better direction, but then it's like you had the Triple Crown. So I think that's also a little bit different format and stuff like that. But I do think like you could get a better feel of how you're gelling with things. But I feel like tonight was a lot different than even A1. Like there was really rutted sections, but then some really dry sections, and was even a lot different than A1. So yeah, I think it was good to get a totally different feel, but under dry conditions.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I don't know if there's been 2 races like that back to back, and yeah, it was interesting. Now that I'm up here again, I think I had a lot more fun at San Francisco than I thought. But no, it definitely shook things up and kept it interesting. But yeah, it was definitely wild and weird for the first 4 rounds for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Jamie Guida, Vital MX. Coop, I'm going to go to you. The whoop sections, especially with 3 motos, kind of a couple different options. Some guys were skimming, some guys were jumping, some were doing both. What was your decision making each lap and how you wanted to handle that section? Because it seemed like it was changing throughout the night.
Yeah, it was. They were pretty challenging, but like you said, if you got a good flow skimming, it was good. And then the one set, I think the 3-3-3 seemed to kind of be the going way. And then for me, it was like it's always, a nice to jump because you can kind of save some energy, to be honest. So that was kind of the line I was sticking to. But yeah, I thought it was actually very, like the way they got were pretty raceable besides maybe the one set. But yeah, 2 sets of whoops this weekend. So that's always a little bit of a challenge compared to 1 set. But yeah, I thought the track overall was a good track tonight.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now blog. Similar question to that, but about the rhythm sections. Eli, I noticed you were tripling in, I think in both of them, at least in the one. How do you decide to triple in versus double, and which was faster? It seemed like guys were kind of confused.
Yeah, so I just saw Anderson doing it. I think he was the only guy doing it in Moto 1, I think. So, and he made a pass there, I believe it was on rocks, and so at that point I'm like, hey, it's faster to go down this lane, and I need to pick up some speed, so I just had to, just go for it in Moto 2 there, and that's when I latched onto that line.
All right. Mitch Kender, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, we got to ask it, Aaron. Going back to Detroit, are you wearing the gear from last weekend, or what's the approach here now that everything went well?
I don't know, man. If I wear that gear again, I think everybody's going to get sick of it. I think I've worn it 2 or 3 times already this year, so we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. We'll see what Thor comes up with. I'm sure it'll be good, though.
All right. Hey, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And big round of applause again. Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, Aaron Plessinger, 1, 2, and 3 for the 450 class.
Took the hard way.
Oh, just the one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about it. I got some questions for him. All right, we're going to go full rock and roll on this one. Cole Davies, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We're going to get his microphone up. You can move that microphone a little bit closer to you, pal. Cole Davies coming all the way from New Zealand. This is our futures winner for the first round. Cole, I want you to take us through that battle you had. You did not get it easily. It was a very difficult, hard-won battle. Take us through how you were able to get it up on the top box here for this first futures race of the year.
Yeah, it was an awesome battle. We were just going back and forth, and it was super tiring. I was breathing so hard, and you're just glad to be on the top.
All right, so open up to questions, Scott.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. Obviously, huge congrats. Can you explain a little bit more about what your situation is with Gas? Does this win change that at all moving forward? And first race here, what were the nerves like today?
I was pretty nervous going in today, but as the race came, the gate dropped, and I was just focused on racing. So yeah.
Jamie Guido, Vital MX. Congratulations. You a little nervous?
Yeah.
Just chill out, man. We're all friends here. It's all good. I talked to you a little bit ago and asked what your expectations were coming in. You didn't have a lot of results coming into this thing, but you told me you expected to win. Why the confidence with not having that much experience and results? What was it?
Yeah, my qualifying was actually terrible. I just reset before the main. I knew I can win, so and I knew that I'm a good starter, so happy with my start. I hit false neutral in the first lane, got pretty sketchy, but had some good battles, so yeah.
Cole, Jason Gypsy Tales, mate, congratulations from all of us down under. We're going to claim you for this one race, so congratulations, mate. Last year you did futures. Maybe not too many people would remember that one because it wasn't the best night for you. But I've got the feeling you were very, very nervous last year for that race. But then coming over here this year, getting the chance to go at it again, how much was that experience last year help you this year?
I was actually less nervous last year. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But yeah, I was quite nervous coming in today, so happy to be here.
Is that just because you had more expectations for yourself than last year, maybe? Like you with the new ride with Gas and I guess maybe knowing more what you're capable of?
Yep.
Copy that.
Yes or no questions work here as well. Nick?
Nick Still, motoonline.com. For you, mate, the question of learning this art, right? Coming over here, working with Daniel Blair, can you sort of talk about that? And for many people that wouldn't know, New Zealand, Australia, we don't have many tracks. We don't have a massive season. What's that difference been like coming here to America, learning this, obviously, with DB, and learning the fundamentals?
Yeah, definitely. Like in New Zealand, I've got there's one Supercross track in New Zealand that's pretty much at least kind of to spec. So, I had to go to Aussie to get Supercross experience. So we've got nothing in New Zealand. So, but happy to be here in America. And yeah.
What's the goal now? We've got the win in the futures. What's next?
Currently we're going to all the next futures rounds and all the combines, and we'll see what else we're going to do.
Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. So going across the finish line, before that you had a pretty good battle with Gavin Towers going back and forth. It was obviously a fun race to watch. What was it feeling like going to the finish line, knowing you got the win? Was it something you dreamed of? What were the emotions you were feeling?
I couldn't even feel myself. I was like so freaking like I was like in a dream, felt like.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Mitch Kendra.
Hey, Mitch Kendrick from Racer X. Cole, I think you were on a Yamaha recently last year for the Futures and the Moto Combine and stuff. How much time do you have on a 250F to begin with, and how much time do you have on the gas, and just talk about that transition?
I was on a Yamaha to like 3 weeks after Ironman, and hopped on the gas, and I was pretty comfy straight away on it, and we've been working on it and getting more comfy on it. So yeah, felt good coming into here. So yeah, good.
You only had 1 year on a 250F, like 2023 was your first year on the 250F, right?
I think so.
So pretty new to it, yeah, okay.
All right, Chase.
So Cole, you've been at this Supercross thing for a while. Like it seems like it's been a plan for maybe the past 3 or 4 years. I know you've been working back home with Ben Townley quite a lot, and he's actually told me that you are one of the fastest learners of anybody that he's ever coached. So what has that been like over the last couple of years working with BT? And you've got him singing your praises to people. I know he doesn't give people praise unless it's very warranted. He's that kind of guy. But he's been in your corner. He's been very adamant about your skills. So what's the process been like over the last couple of years working with BT?
Yeah, it's been good. I've learned so much from him, and his is actually the only track part to spec. So I've ridden a lot of laps around his track.
Cool. I think I said, are you planning on doing all 5 Futures this year? The remaining 4?
Yep.
That's the plan. All right, give it up. Cole Davies, number 17. Big winner out here. Well done, bud.
You nailed it, Cole. You nailed it.
I'm going to stay over here for now.
Let's go, boys. Let's light this thing up. Fireworks are for you.
All right, ready to get started here with the 250 part of this press conference. Again, it's a post-race press conference for round 4, Anaheim 2, the Triple Crown. In first place, Levi Kitchen. Second, RJ Hampshire. And Nate Thrasher in third. Big round of applause. Let's give it up. These guys did great tonight. Start with Levi Kitchen. Levi, Triple Crowns seem to be the thing you are great at. Your second win came in a Triple Crown or Grand. How much do you love this format?
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. It's obviously treated me well, but I would honestly probably prefer the normal one. But every once in a while, it's good. I just hope they don't go to, like, a lot of these. It's fun to have a couple in the season, but, yeah, I would say I prefer the normal format, though.
Eli Tomac said the same thing. He said, let's cap it at 3. 3's great. No more. You feel the same way?
I mean, I don't even have 3. I don't even know how many I have this season, but yeah, no, definitely.
In terms of how many we run per year?
I'd say 3, yeah.
Got it. All right, let's move on. Jamie?
Jamie Guido, Vital MX. RJ, 217, I believe, were your results. That third one, bad start. I didn't see exactly what happened, but kind of frustrating. I'm assuming you got to be really consistent in these things, not what you were hoping for. Just kind of take us through that third one.
Yeah, third one, my first time in my career, I had a flat tire on a Supercross track. So, yeah, it was eventful. I knew something was wrong. Didn't necessarily know what until it shot me off in the whoops. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely, something's going on there. And then I was fine the next couple laps. And then once that rear tire breaks the bead and then it's off the rim, that's whenever it gets really, really scary. But overall, man, it was an awesome night. That first and second moto was sick. Like, if we could do that every weekend, I mean, we'd probably get paid a lot more because that was a show. But no, that, like I said, that was fun. All in all, though, solid, really solid day.
Jason Gypsy Tales, Levi, mate. Every year I feel like in the lights class we get a few rounds in, or the 250 class we get a few rounds in, and someone sort of slowly establishes their dominance. Like last year it was Jet and Hunter. Years before we've had like Christian Craig, Ferrandis, you know. So you get a couple rounds in and someone kind of takes that spot. Do you think that spot is still up for grabs, or are you slowly making a claim for that? And that first moto, especially you and RJ were like really sending it. So it seems like you guys are really in the battle for who is going to be the guy of this class this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, you know. Last year, I think Lawrence was clearly just maybe a little bit better, so we're all really close right now. Obviously, I want to be the dominant guy, but yeah, it's close right now. You can't start in like 5th or 6th with these guys and have them up front. It's yeah, you'd have to have a pretty amazing. I don't even know what you'd have to do to be able to get up to them. So I think it's tighter than years past. Like especially, you know, the top 5 of us, we're all pretty experienced by now, so it's definitely tight racing.
Nick Still, MotoOnline.com. This will be for Levi and both Nate there as well. You know, you guys have been teammates in the past, so you spend a lot of the time riding with each other throughout the week. Do each of you take that into consideration on the racetrack? You know each other's craft better than anyone else on the track. Is that something that works into your favour at all?
I think so. Like I'd say for the, you know, the safety thing, I guess. Like I know I can follow Nate pretty much wherever I want. You know, he's pretty in control when he's racing. So I'd say in that case, yeah.
I mean, yeah, for a little bit. It's definitely tough when you're at the racetrack. It's a different track every weekend, so there's obviously a little bit different stuff you're doing. But, yeah, you can definitely trust the guy a little bit more and know he's not going to race you dirty. And, yeah, it's good, clean racing.
Ryan Nitzin with Cycling News. My question's for Levi. You looked like a totally new rider this weekend from rounds like 1 through 3. You had the leg swag in Moto 1 and 2. Is there anything that's changed? Like you just looked like you were charging and looked like you're flowing the whole weekend. Like, can you just talk about anything's changed or you just feel more comfortable?
Well, we didn't get rain, so I'd say that was the first thing. Well, and I mean, really the only takeaway we have is A1, and I was pretty nervous at A1, so I rode a little tight. So I definitely I'd say I just rode like myself tonight, more so.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now blog. Levi, in that last race, you already had a pretty comfortable points lead in terms for the Triple Crowns. You didn't need to pass Nate. You also didn't need to beat Joe, and Joe caught you in the end. Are you doing the math in your head? And also, how would you feel if there were like championship points rewarded for like the first or even a podium to give you some more incentive to actually race forward in that last race?
Yeah, if that was the case, I would have for sure, you know, made a push to try to get Nate. But I mean, it didn't matter tonight. I looked up on the triple and pretty much spotted RJ every time. And then when I seen he went down, I pretty much just kicked him in cruise control and then just tried to be smart and get to the finish line.
As riders, is that too much extra stress to have additional championship points on the line for like a first in a single race?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think it would make the format definitely interesting, but I think you'd see a lot more carnage, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I don't really know how that would go.
Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. Questions for Levi. Levi, you had 3 good starts tonight. So good. Your bike's actually in inspection over there. But last year, you know, you had issues with starts, and now you're on the Pro Circuit bike. Anything that you figured out? Is it just technique, maybe confidence? What on your starts that you figured out?
I think a little bit of it is the hydraulic clutch. It's a little bit easier for me to get off the line with. So, but other than that, yeah, I just worked on a lot of starts this year, and I feel really comfortable on this bike.
Michael Antonovich with Swap Moto Live. Levi, for you, I don't know if you've looked at the points, but you and Jordan are tied right now, and then you guys have a week off and then come back at Phoenix. Obviously, we always talk about the mindset of the red plate, so how does this feel for you right now?
Well, it's new. I've never had it, so I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a little bit of pressure, but I'm just going to try to keep doing what I've been doing, and just, you know, if a win's there, take it. If not, then just try to, I guess, leave Glendale with the red plate again.
All right, Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from Racer X. Levi, obviously 2 straight years you win the Anaheim 2 Supercross, and it's a Triple Crown. But last year, like, you went 7-21-1, and this year you've been on the podium with 3-2-5-1. You know, just talk about the differences. Did you do anything mentally-wise, different, like, training-wise? How are you able to be better off the starts? Like, there's not the crashes in the first early rounds like you had your first years of Supercross. Just talk about the differences coming into the season and executing.
I think just experience. Obviously, new team, a lot of things changed, but as far as I'd say it's just mindset and being a little smarter with even gate position, anything. Just being a smarter racer, and I'm learning a lot every time I'm out there.
Yeah, and I was going to say your starts look like they're better too. Like that was your kryptonite kind of last year. If you started up front, you could run up front. Is that something kind of with the different clutch you mentioned, or it seems like your jumps better, you're able to get in a better position, so you're avoiding that early lap carnage and stuff?
I think it's that, and also just being more confident, knowing that I need to get to the front more, and I would just say between all that and the bike's really good too.
Brad Gephardt.
Thanks, Brad Gephardt. Verb Moto. This one's for Nate. Nate, tell me a little bit about the bike that you're on now compared to the bike you were on last year, your transition to it, and what you'd like to improve on the short break.
We're still learning, obviously. It's the same motor package, but a whole different chassis. So all the suspension characteristics are completely different. So we're still learning, but I think I got a good package this weekend. I felt like it was a big step in the right direction for me, and we're still learning, still working, still trying to get a little bit better. But last week I think we found a little bit, and it showed this weekend on this. It was very hard pack tracked out there today, and on the bike I was racing a couple weekends ago, I was struggling pretty bad with the hard pack. So, it was definitely a little bit better spot for me.
Are you guys back to Florida week to week, or are you out here full time?
We're going back to Florida week to week.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. RJ, obviously you left A1 on a super high, feeling super confident, I'm sure, with the points lead. Last two rounds, you've definitely have left points on the table. Talk us through your mentality and how you can kind of stay focused after having two disappointing weekends in a row.
Yeah, it was muddy. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. San Fran just got... San Fran really wasn't even my fault besides my bad start. Someone came into me and was in the worst spot possible. And then, last weekend, everybody's seen it. We know what happened. I led a lot of the race. Didn't know what they were doing behind me, and once they got around me, I figured it out. Did exactly what I needed to do on that night, and came up 2 corners short. I mean, it's part of it. Whatever. We got to move on. It was just kind of the goal this weekend was, look, let's get back to it. I know where my speed's at. I feel really good on my bike right now. We wanted to get some points back, and I think we dropped at 6 maybe tonight, which was huge. I needed that heading back home. And my main goals coming in was knock off a win early, which we did that, and then head east with a pretty good shot at the championship still, and we did that also. So to look at the big picture, I'm pretty happy with everything.
Jason Gypsy Tales, boys. I'm just going to get you to do a little bit of bench racing, each of you. The 250 class goes east next week. Danger Boy will be on the gate. Both of you up there can attest to the circus that follows the star pits around when he's racing. But maybe some predictions for the East Coast, some of the storylines you're excited to follow, who you expect to do good. Please don't just say your teammates. Any expectations as fans of Supercross for next weekend?
I mean, I'll start. I'm going to go with kind of a dark horse. I'm excited to see Billy, my teammate, go racing. It's an awesome kid.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say him for the win, though. I'm going to go dark horse, and I'm going to say Anstie. I'm going to say he starts off ready to go.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good pick.
Let's go podium, each of you.
Podium?
Yeah. Let's pick the top 3.
Anstie, J-Mart, Deegan.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm going to go Faulkner, Anstie. Yeah, I'd put Deegan up there too.
I'll go Deegan. I think Anstie is going to surprise some people. We're riding with him quite a bit. He's going really fast. And one more, I think, is going to Dax Bennick's been riding really good. So I'll put him up there on a third.
And just, can you boys speak on the Danger Boy effect? Because I even had Villepotto on the podcast this week, and I'd asked him if he'd been around the pits and kind of seen it. I mean, I was at Washougal last year, and then the LA round, and it's just insane. Have you guys, can you speak on what it's like to actually be under the truck when that whole thing is going on?
it's definitely a show. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I would say now it's pretty peaceful over at the Kawasaki rig for me.
You miss that, or do you like the peace?
Hell no, I don't miss that. No, they would come up for autographs. They wouldn't even know the difference between me and Nate or Smitty. Like, yeah, it was chaos.
Thank you, boys.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Hey, give it up one more time for our 250 podium. Levi Kitchen, RJ Hampshire, Nate Thrasher. That's going to conclude this press conference, an explosive press conference here for round 4. We'll see you all in Detroit. Remember, it is early in Detroit. We're going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern for the traditional night show. So keep that in mind. It will be on NBC.